In the previous tutorial, we learned how we can collect GIS data such as administrative boundaries, environmental, socioeconomic, and behavioral data from a variety of sources. All of the data were freely available and were in different formats. The problem was that most datasets were not in GIS-ready formats such as shapefile or raster dataset. They were in a spreadsheet formats like Excel, CSV, and text. As you know, in GIS studies, all datasets must have a spatial reference, so we need to convert these tables to GIS-compatible forms. This process is called a spatialization. We have two scenarios for importing a spreadsheet data into ArcGIS. First, we should look inside the spreadsheet to see if there is information about coordinates of geographic features or not. If we could find coordinates for each feature, such as latitude, longitude, or x and y coordinate, that would be very easy. We can directly convert them to vector data models such as shapefile format. The second scenario is that if there is no coordinate information for each location, we have to join the data to a base map that has a spatial reference. Let's practice these two scenarios with some examples. In previous part, we downloaded a couple of datasets and saved them in free data folder. In GSPC H GIS Labs free data. One of them was data from Ohio Department of Health with the name of Ohio OneSource.csv. We had healthcare facilities within the Ohio state such as clinics, laboratory, emergency medical services, and so forth. Let's open up the CSV file and see whether we have coordinate information or not. In this CSV file, we should look for XY coordinate or latitude, longitude information. So if you, I think this one has latitude and this one is longitude. So these two fields, V and W column, have latitude and longitude information, so we can directly spatialize the whole data set in ArcGIS. Let's say we are only interested in spatializing a specific type of business, such as animal control. Okay, so we have to select all of the locations that are animal control facilities. So from here, go to the data menu and then filter. Click on filter, and then here you need to first uncheck all of the facilities and then select only animal control. And then OK. So now we have to select all of these locations and then copy and paste it in a new blank workbook, and then save it as a CSV file in the same folder. File, save as, this PC, free data, with the name of animal control underscore oh.csv. Okay, CSV is a compatible format for ArcGIS, comma, delimited. Okay, and then hit save. And then you can close this, both of them, and open up your ArcMap and load the CSV file in ArcMap. So click cancel and then connect to folder of GIS GIS labs free data. Okay, here you can see animal control OHCSV and then load it into ArcMap. So let's open up the attribute table of the CSV. So we can see that we can't see business type or location of counties, addresses. Why? What's the problem? The problem is we should look at the CSV file again to see what's the problem. So the problem is that there is extra space between business and type, and ArcGIS cannot read that. Okay, here you need to insert an underscore between business and type, and also business and name. So if you want to have all of this information in your final product, you must be able to read the data, right? So you need to clean the data, prepare the data. So, and also here, line address line 1, location address line 2. This one doesn't have any information, so we can keep this one. So location city, location state, location zip, location county. So the other information, so maybe if you need license number you can add a space, but we don't need that. But if you want to have the information, you must insert the space. So we can also remove all of these unnecessary fields that doesn't contain any information. So it's easier to work with CSV compared to the ArcGIS. This one is so much easier. In ArcGIS you have to delete the field one by one. So this field also doesn't contain any useful information. And after that, save it, yes, and then we already saved it. So you need to remove this file and then load the new version. And sometimes maybe you need to open a new blank map. So let's add the data, and now you can see that business name, location state, location zip. So ArcGIS is very sensitive to extra space in the header of the tables, okay, of the column. So it's very important to insert or remove the space, or add an extra underscore between the two names. How we can spatialize the location of animal controls. So these are location of animal controls. We have 68 animal control facilities in Ohio. So in order to spatialize the locations based on the table that has latitude, longitude, you need to right click on the name of the CSV file and then select display XY data. So in this table you can specify the field that represent X coordinate or X field and the field that represent Y coordinate. And sometimes you may need to specify the field that has Z or CERT component, but it's not always necessary. It's most of the time is optional. So as you know, X field corresponds to longitude, so we have to select location longitude, and Y field corresponds to latitude. and Z is optional, and we don't have elevation for each location, so leave it as it is. So we also need to define the coordinate system by clicking on the edit. The measurements are latitude and longitude, so we have to use the geographic coordinate system, because geographic coordinate system, the unit of measurement is based on latitude and longitude. And then you have to select the WGS 84 from Word, and then WGS 1984. So here you can see information of the ellipsoid and datum. Okay, click OK, and then so you have to click OK here, because it's changes your table to a kind of a shape file. So, and it creates a new field with the name of object ID, and that's fine. So click OK. So here are the locations of animal controls in Ohio, but these locations are temporary, which means if I close ArcMap, I will lose this data. Okay, so how we can make it permanent? We need to export it as a new shape file. So right click on this event file, and then data, export data, and navigate to free data folder, and here you can save it with the name of animal control _oh with the data type of shape file, and then save and OK. So do you want to add it to your map? Yes. And also here you can remove this event, this temporary, and the CSV file. We no longer need them, so remove. So here is your shape file. This is how you can convert a file, a spreadsheet file that has longitude and latitude information into the shape file format. You can also add the boundaries of the Ohio counties from, I think, lab 2 folder has this information. GIS labs, lab 2, we have counties of Ohio. So here are the location of the animal controls facilities in Ohio. So you can see the spatial distribution of animal controls. In 1,000 parts we have lack of animal control facilities. Okay, and here we have a cluster, and here we have animal control facilities closer to each other. Okay, so this is how you can import a CSV file with coordinate information into ArcMap. The second scenario is that sometimes you don't have coordinate information in the spreadsheet. So in this case you need to join the spreadsheet to a base map that has a spatial reference. Okay, for instance, from free data folder, let's go to the free data folder, and then let's open Cancer OH 2016. So if you remember, this data had age adjusted incidence rate and also cancer count for a variety of cancer types in Ohio, right? But if you look at this information, this file doesn't contain any coordinate information such as latitude, longitude, x, y. In this case, we need to join all of this information to the corresponding base map that in this case would be the shape file of the Ohio counties. So let's say we only want to select lung and bronchus cancer. Okay, so from the data filter, we're gonna filter out the bronchus and lung and bronchus cancer. Let's uncheck all of the cancers and then select lung and bronchus cancer. Okay, so select all, copy, and then file, open a new blank workbook, and then paste it here. Let me check. Okay, so this is the information for let me clean the data. So we don't need this population count because it doesn't contain any information. Sort, I don't know what is that, so we can remove these two column, and let's save the data as a CSV file in the same folder. Free data with the name of CSV comma delimited with the name of long underscore Bron underscore OH 2016 or 16 for future use, so the name should make sense for us. So click on save and then yes. So here we have, so here is the table that contains the information. As I said, we can't find XY coordinate, and we have to join this to the base map that has the corresponding base map that has a spatial reference. In this case, it's Ohio counties boundary or shapefile. So let's open the arc map and add the counties of Ohio. I think in lab 2 folder we can find the information. So counties Ohio, so here is the information. So if you open up the attribute table and look at the attribute, so the last column, just remember the last column is this column, but which field has the same information, which field is common between this shapefile and also Long Bron Ohio? So these are new fields, right? Cancer count, age adjusted, cancer site. We can't join this table based on this field. The only field that can help us is county name, right? So this field has the name of the counties in Ohio. And if you open up attribute table, if you look at the attribute table of the shapefile, we have a field with the name of name. So this one also has this is name, but this one has name plus county, right? It doesn't work. The name of the field must be the same. So if you right click here and then sort ascending, you can compare it Adams, Allen, Ashland. So here also we have Adams, Allen, Ashland. So information sounds to be the same. So however, they have different header. Okay, here we have county name. So we don't need Cancer, Ohio anymore. So we're working with this one, Long Bron. So however, this one is county name, this one is name. The header are different, but the information are the same. Okay, so we can join this in these two table. Okay, so let's close this table and add the CSV file from the free data folder, which was Long Bron Ohio, and then open up the CSV file. So it has 88 counties. This one also has 88 counties, right? So we have to join this CSV file to this shape file. So we have to right click on the shape file, join and relate, join, and after that here you have to select the field that is common between the shape file and the table. This one is based on the shape file, which is name is common. And here you should select the table that you're supposed to join it to this shape file. So in that case, we only have one table, so we don't have to worry about that. But sometimes we have so many tables in the table of content, you have to select the table. And after that, after you select the table, you have to select the common field, which automatically ArcMap found the common field, which is county name. Okay, so keep all records in the target table are shown in the result table. So click OK. So what happened? You have to open up the shapefile to see the difference. So if you scroll to the very right end of the table, so it was the end of the table, if you remember, in this field, but now we have 4 a new column. Okay, that's the result of join. So these 4 fields have been added to your table, and so you can see that it saves, join operation saves our time, so we don't need to create another field and then enter the values one by one. Okay, sometimes you're working at the counties for the entire United States, more than 3,000 counties, so you don't have to do it one by one, so you can easily join it to the shapefile of the counties. So join is a very important operation in GIS. So notice join is a temporary operation, which means if I close ArcMap, I will lose the result of join. So we need to make it permanent. So how we can make it permanent? We have to export the result of join as a shapefile. Data, export data, navigate to free data folder with the name of long underscore Braun underscore OH 2016 .shp. Okay, and then save and okay, and then you can remove the other files. So this one is the result of join. So now you have this information. So now we can make a map based on these fields. So that's how we can work with the spreadsheet and specialize them for future analysis. For your homework, you need to find any spreadsheet information and then either join it to a base map and make a map of it, or if it has latitude, longitude information, directly convert them to a GIS format. So you also need to send me the data, both the CSV file and the shape file, all extensions, okay, of the shape file. You have to select all of the information, the CSV and all of the shape file, the extension of the shape file, and also your write-up, and then send everything as a zip file. In these 2 tutorials, we learned how we can download a broad range of freely available data set and then specialize them for our analysis.